Hi, John. How are you?
Good.
All right. So I got a text message, and you were saying that things have improved a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's a whole different. I'm not running on the. I was running out of steam. I think I had no energy. I was being consumed, but I'm now it's dissipated. Well, it's not totally away. It comes back again. But I've been doing my practice every day,
Hmm.
it's very healing. I feel it. I can feel the joy. I did one yesterday. Uh, I went back to a memory,
Mm.
and totally I saw it from a totally different perspective, and and I had a smile on my face. And
Mm. This is the time frame practice.
the time frame, yeah, it's absolutely genius.
Mm.
It is. It's amazing.
The idea of actually giving you the videos and encouraging you to do the time frame process outside of the coaching program is quite new. I never used to do that. I
Yeah.
think that most people who use this particular process, because it's not one that I created, it's somebody else's process.
Mm.
Most people who do this, they just sort of do it once, and it's like, well, that makes a big difference to be able to get rid of the negative emotions. But I'm glad that you've been getting a lot of benefit from it. I'm glad that you've been using it and finding new memories that you can work on.
Mhm.
We're going to use it to do a limiting belief today.
Okay.
I also want to go back over the values that we were doing in the last session just to see where they're at.
Okay.
All right. What I want to get into now is I want to start doing a limiting decision, which is what we use to remove limiting beliefs.
Okay.
And we use the time frame process for it again. And it's really up to you. If you want me to stop the recording and we'll just do it privately, then I'm happy to do that. But
Well,
otherwise, I'm just
no,
going to carry
I'm
on.
happy to do it. I'm happy to be recorded if that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So I sent you through a list of limiting beliefs as well.
yeah.
Um, and you were saying that you had a few of them.
No, well, I've got all of them apart from escaping the 9 to 5. Um,
Mm.
I did escape the 9 to 5, but um, I don't I don't know if well, there we go. I don't know if that was a good idea. There we go. I don't even know what that means. That means something, doesn't it? So yeah,
Mm. Well,
yeah. It's yeah,
the thing about all of these beliefs is that they're not actually true and they're not actually false. They're just the kind of things that, for as long as you have them, you'll be restricted. You'll be unable to make progress in a particular area. Um, Getting rid of them doesn't make the opposite of them true, though. So if you have, and I used to have this belief, I used to have a belief of I can't dance. And it's like, did getting rid of that belief make me a good dancer? Like, no, I still couldn't dance. But it got rid of the impossibility of me learning to dance.
yeah,
So I then went off and took dance lessons because I like dance, and now I would say that I can dance. But it wasn't an instantaneous thing. So
mm,
sometimes there's a learning curve that you have to go through. But if you
yeah,
don't get rid of that learning curve first,
yeah,
then what happens is you go into that situation and have that belief playing out in your head as you're doing the dance lesson. It's like, well, there's no point in me being here because I can't dance anyway. So no wonder I'm getting it all wrong, and no wonder everyone's better than me. You get rid of the belief up front, then you go into that situation. You're like, well, I'm learning to dance,
yeah,
and I'm not the worst and I'm not the best.
mm,
Hopefully, somewhere in the middle or the best. Why not? But hopefully not the worst. But you make progress much more quickly than other people because you don't get held back by the limiting beliefs. And as soon as you feel yourself getting held back, you're like, oh, that's a belief that's holding me back. What is it? Track it down, put it into language, use the time frame process, revisit the moment where you created the belief, and transform it.
right.
So which one of these would you like to do? You can do the rest of them on your own time, but which one would you like to do on the call?
I am not good enough.
All right. That's a pretty classic one that a lot of people have. So What I want you to do is I want you to go inside and check with your unconscious mind simply by reflecting this question internally and waiting for a response to come back. And remember that this is not a thinking technique, right? So if you find yourself in detective mode trying to figure stuff out, then you are doing it wrong. This is a listening technique. This is about waiting for an answer to come up from your unconscious mind. It might sometimes feel appropriate that you say something. You might get a really strong feeling that you want to say something, in which case that's an acceptable thing as well. But if you find yourself going inside and sort of trying to figure things out and go like, well, it must have been like this because of dot dot dot, that's the wrong way to do it. So it's a listening technique. And I'm going to ask you a question. What I want you to do is to reflect it internally and simply wait for an answer to come back that will be a yes or no answer. Is it totally okay for you to have a conscious, undeniable experience of the limiting decision of I'm not good enough disappearing for you today?
Yes.
And now moving all the way to position C, also known as position 3. Position C, making sure you're well before the moment in time or any of the sequence of things that led up to it. Having turned around, looking down towards that moment, ask yourself, what is that you can learn from it? What can you learn in such a way that when you've learned it, you're going to be able to let go of that limiting decision of I'm not good enough? What can you learn that's about yourself, that's stated in the positive and that's useful for the future? Tell me, what is there to learn from this?
To fight back.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's people that depend on you, and this you can't be a man like that. That's not. It's not. It's not how you have to be in the world. You have to stand, and you've got people that depend on you and look up to you.
Hmm.
So no, you just need to have some pride. No, there's nothing else. Have
All
some
right.
pride in yourself.
Okay. In that case, just float down inside the event to position D. Make sure that as you look out through your own eyes, you have a really good search around. See if you can find any trace of that old limiting decision. The old limiting decision of I'm not good enough. See if there's even a trace of it there, or you may find it's completely disappeared. Is it there or has it gone?
It's gone.
Great. So float back up to position C, which is also known as position number 3, making sure you're well before the moment in time or any of the sequence of things that preceded it and led up to it. And ask your unconscious mind to come back to now. And as you come back to now along the timeline, go to position C with every time thereafter that you had that limiting belief of I'm not good enough come up. Preserve the learnings and release that limiting decision all the way back to now. And as you come back to now, ask your unconscious mind to point your attention at least 3 different times, 3 different situations where you could have responded a bit differently, but because you were feeling not good enough, you didn't notice the options that you see now. Just as soon as you get back to now, float down into now, come back into the room and open your eyes. All right? So how was that?
Oh, well, I don't. I had a vision of this man that was lying, getting kicked, and he had his hands over his. He was cowering like that, and he was getting kicked, and he wasn't fighting back. He was just lying there like a God Almighty. He was just letting somebody abuse him.
All right.
Wow.
Well, what I want you to do is I want you to think of something which actually happened in the past, something, a real event that happened for you in the past, something that, if I'd have asked you to think about it earlier, would have caused you to feel not good enough. Tell me, how is that different now?
Wow. Um, Hmm. There's so much. This, I can't even think. There's nothing there. I don't know what that means.
All right. Well, what about if you imagine something in the future? Something which, if it had happened in the past, would have caused you to feel not good enough. How's that different now?
Oh, 10 times. Yeah, there's something. No, yeah, I'm ready to. No, I'm good enough. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Now, to somebody who is just watching this, it might seem like it's a little bit too simple and a little bit too good to be true. What would you say to that person?
Well, it is simple,
Hmm.
but it works. It actually works. And I'll tell you this: I've tried everything.
Hmm.
I have thrown everything, and there's nothing touches this. I have tried so many things. This is uh, uh, unbelievable. If you could take this into schools, it, it would revolutionise. It could revolutionise.
Well, I'm
It's a bit strong, but
hmm.
there is a lot of power in this. There's a lot of power
Well,
in
I'm in conversation with somebody to do exactly that at the
it.
moment, although not necessarily what we're doing today, but more what we'll be doing probably in the next session.
Yeah.
Which is more about teaching kids how to communicate with themselves on the inside with the parts of their unconscious mind. And we've done a little bit of that kind of work, you know, how powerful parts are, right?
Oh, aye. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting into that in the next session. And that's the stuff that, you know, educators are quite interested in because you can teach it, right? It doesn't require a process with someone to guide you through it. So, you know, it's just think like this. It's better. So that might happen. But at the moment, we're at the very early stages of that. All right. So probably leave it there because we made like a lot of really good progress today. I've taught you how to do time frame. I've given you the videos that are on YouTube. You will get a copy of this video. It should just appear in your Skype as soon as it's finished processing on the server. My recommendation is, I'm also going to send you through the other two sets of values. I'll do that right now whilst I remember. My recommendation is to finish doing the values and to do the limiting decisions. And what I did when I first learned this stuff was the values is a kind of, you do that maybe once every 6 months or so. You don't need to do that all the time, just to see how you're getting on and how things are improving. But the limiting decision stuff,
Yeah.
I like to do it in bulk. And I tend to just write them down on the notes app on my phone. And then I just sit down and I spend an hour over the course of a week and just run through them all. Because you saw how quick it was to do not good enough, right? And that you looked at the list and thought, well, what's the biggest one, the hardest one to get rid of? And you did it in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so you can do everything that's on that sheet probably in under an hour. And if you think about what a difference it will make when everything on that sheet is no longer true for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well worth doing. So I'd advise you to watch through this video, particularly the bit that I'm teaching. You know, you don't necessarily need to watch yourself going through the therapy because who knows, maybe that will be fascinating to you. But the bits that I've been teaching are worth hanging on to. See if you can store this video somewhere so that you can come back to it, because it does it sort of forms part of Limitless Mind. Limitless Mind is being expanded at the moment, and you're kind of the first person to go through this expanded version where there's all of this extra video information and teaching of the techniques so that you can use them and keep them after the coaching program and so on. And this video that we've recorded today will probably be part of that. So hang on to it and watch it through again. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Thank
When would you like to do the next one?